Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi everyone, welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something that will help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world we live in. And boy, oh boy, is it crazy. Today we're here with attorney Jeff Adelman. He is with the Adelman Law Firm. Did I get that right?
Well, I'm actually now with Brotman, Nussbaum, Ibrahim, and Adelman, so I've merged with some friends.
Oh wow, it sounds like you're all ready for Hanukkah there.
Yeah, it really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
I won't be able to do that again, but
Yeah.
we'll just keep it that it's your firm. So you've been in the city of Coral Springs for a million years, and you've been an attorney there for, looks like a million years.
Yeah, 23 years practicing law, and I've been in the Coral Springs community with my family for over 40 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's hard to find people with good roots. But one of the things we will say, even though we're saying a city specifically, you can help anybody in the state of Florida that has been in an accident.
100%. In fact, yesterday I came back from DeLand, Florida, for a case I had up there.
Land.
Deadland, Florida. Thankfully, the hotel was next to a Culver's, so everybody wins. But the client had a good result, and again, we travel wherever.
He travels, so just keep that in mind. So one of the things that I think that a lot of people don't understand is car insurance and what to do in case you get into an accident, right? When I was younger and I wanted to drive, when I turned 16, I said to my father, please let me drive. And he said, no. He goes, and I said, I'm not going to get in an accident. And he goes, that's why it's called an accident. Mm-hmm. And of course, I was supposed to be at Farmore, if anybody remembers what that is.
I do.
And I wasn't. I was at Pizza Supreme off of Woodside. And somebody was coming out of the Cumberland Farms, the little farm store, and they backed up into me. And I wasn't doing anything, but they backed into me, and my mom asked for the receipt to the medication, which had a different time than where I said where I was. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got in an accident at 16. So, and I didn't really. I was by myself. I mean, they got in an accident, but I was involved in it.
They pulled you in.
Correct.
Pulled you in.
They backed into me after having their beer in a can, in the brown bag. So, and he had no insurance, by the way. So let's talk about what happens when somebody hits you without insurance.
Well, I'm sad to say that this is happening more and more in the state. A lot of it has to do with people really hurting right now financially. But if you're going to drive a car, you have to have insurance or you're breaking the law. But uninsured motorist coverage is probably the most important coverage you could have on your policy. And what that does is it steps into the shoes of the uninsured or underinsured drivers so that you can actually have coverage for your bills, for your lost wages, and unfortunately, if it's permanent, pain and suffering. So if you don't have that, you're basically relying on the good faith of the drivers on Florida roads. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. So.
Okay, so if you don't have it, then you're not covered. But you would go after theirs if they had it first.
The first level is you go over after the bodily injury policy of the person that's negligent. Once you see what they have, then you make a determination whether or not it's appropriate to go into the uninsured motorist coverage. If there's no coverage or a small policy, then you'd probably want to tap into the benefit that you've paid for. But if there's an adequate policy, such as, well, you get hit by a city furniture truck or something like that.
Well, if you're going to get hit, let it be that.
Yeah, well, I know other drivers are very safe.
Yes.
So that's why I picked on them. No, I randomly picked a company.
Yeah.
But the point is a corporate company generally has a decent policy, whereas somebody driving a 20-year-old car, I don't know.
They're probably just trying to get in the car and get by.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have insurance. And you're allowed in Florida, we're one of the few states that actually allow you to drive without any liability coverage if you hurt somebody else. And it's kind of crazy because, in this state, it's very hard to collect from people personally. The homestead laws and everything else. So not only are you driving at your own peril if you don't purchase this coverage, you are really you're taking some tremendous risks because it's legal for people to drive without liability insurance if they hurt you, and we're one of the few states that are like that. And it's they tried changing it a few years ago. In fact, the Republican legislature overwhelmingly passed it. And Governor DeSantis vetoed it. So to give everybody $25,000 coverage, $50,000 per accident, but it would have eliminated the no-fault insurance.
Oh.
So he vetoed it. So you don't know if the person next to you driving all over the road has insurance or not.
Right.
But
so
there's
when
a
you
pretty
say,
good,
"Oh yeah, hit me, I'll retire," that might not be the case.
No.
Unless you have good insurance.
unless you have good insurance to protect yourself and your family.
So let's talk about that. Stacked insurance. Let's say you have 2 children, right? You have 2 driving children, right?
I do.
And then you have your wife and yourself, right?
Right.
So now you have 4 vehicles, more than likely. Maybe 3, but let's say you have 4, right? Now you have your policy because you're a professional who probably lives in a nice house, who probably has a couple of dollars. So you're a perfect target for somebody. Would you not agree?
No. Definitely not. No.
But in general.
No, I have good insurance because I know the risks of not having insurance.
Right. For yourself, not even for the other people, just for yourself.
Exactly. And so for peace of mind, I mean, personally, I have like a $300,000 policy, and then I have an umbrella for a million after that.
But do you stack your policies?
The stacking is really for the uninsured motorist coverage. So, for example, we're using your hypothetical with 4 vehicles.
Right.
If you have a $100,000 per person, $300,000 per accident uninsured motorist coverage, and you have 4 cars, well, each person, like let's say your son is involved in an accident, well, they're eligible for $400,000 of potential coverage because you purchased the stacking. If you did not purchase the stacking, it's $100,000. Okay. So it's a little more expensive, but it's worth it if some type of horrific accident happens, for sure.
Well, I found that getting an umbrella policy if you own Airbnbs is almost impossible.
Yeah, it's they're getting more and more difficult to get, and for commercial especially.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's in a home,
Right.
it's something to think about if you have assets that you're concerned about somebody attaching if you are involved in some type of accident. Because again, it is an accident. You don't know when something's going to happen.
Hey, listen, I was in an accident where I didn't even barely touch the back of the lady's car. She's suing me now. Nothing happened. I got out of the car. She didn't even know I hit the car. My car was damaged. Hers wasn't. But she's suing me now. She's hurt. Why do people do this?
Well, I mean, they do it because the insurance companies do pay on certain policies, but
it's like probably $10,000 in the end.
But that brings up a very good point as well, and I don't think this is where you intended to go, but I'm going to give some advice to your viewers.
Yeah.
If you're involved in an accident, and even if you don't think it's a big accident, encourage your insurance company to settle, because the bottom line is you want that release signed by the person that's making the claim, so they don't go after your assets and they don't go after above your policy limits. It's in your best interest to get the release and move on.
I thought that's what the insurance company's doing for you, though.
But if you push back too much, they might try to use it as an excuse to not pay. And that's against your interest. It's in the insurance company's interest. So just some food for thought. Even if you don't believe in something, the bottom line is you have insurance for a reason. It's to protect yourself. And you don't want to give the insurance company the ability to say, well, the insured said it wasn't that big of an accident, so we decided when they were trying to settle for $20,000 that we weren't going to pay.
Well, we both have the same insurance company, so that worked out.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad. Well, that's just
a benefit, huh?
It can be sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they treat
But it
each
got a
other
little
differently.
screwy because they were trying to call her, but they were calling me, and then it's like, you don't know who's who.
Yeah,
right?
It can be, but
Yeah.
when they're counting that money, they know where it's coming from and whose policy it's coming from.
Right.
So.
Well, we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about knowing what to do when it comes to insurance, and also I know we have a little surprise of something that you're running for. So when we come back, we'll talk more.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our #1 priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at theloracell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am Laura Sanders. Today I have with me Jeff Adelman. He is an attorney, and he practices basically accident law, right? So if you're in a slip and fall, if you are in a car accident, if you fall off of a bridge accidentally, you were pushed, he can help you. He can sue whoever pushed you off, or just make sure they have money.
Make sure they have insurance.
Yeah, or money.
or there's no any exclusion from an intentional tort, which there might be.
That's a whole nother thing. You can't go around killing your wife and husbands, because they might have like some kind of no-kill clause in there. So
that
just
too.
read before you do it. No, I'm just kidding. I know this sounds so like
this took a dark turn, Laura.
It did. Jeff wrote a book, and it's called "Choosing the Right Lawyer is No Accident," no pun intended. So
maybe a
I
little
look
bit.
forward to reading this. I would have totally read it if I knew, but I am actually really interested in this. So I'm definitely going to read this. If you are interested in one of his books, he can always, have you come by his office. You can pick one up, or he can definitely send you the link with
Absolutely.
it. So you can reach out to them. What's the best number for them to call you if they're interested in reading this book?
Well, the best number is 561-417-5656.
Slower.
561-417-5656. But also, if you'd like to read it online, accidentattorneybook.com. I also have it in Spanish, librodeabogado.com.
I took French.
So, that's not going to help you.
No, it's not. It's not going to help me. So I know there's like a lot of stuff you're saying, about choosing the right attorney, which I think, you have all these big law firms, right? For me personally, I feel you're losing that personal touch, and you're getting somebody that's new to law, that doesn't have experience. And for me, I think that's really important for somebody, for if they've been in an accident, to reach out to someone like yourself that has that personal touch.
Well, here's the other thing. I mean, you saw on the thing, I'm a board certified civil trial lawyer. I actually go to trial. And I actually got board certified because I've tried a certain amount of cases and I had to pass a test.
Oh, wow.
Less than 0.5% of all Florida lawyers are board certified. So
That's good to know.
and I don't charge more money than somebody who's not. So when you come to me, you sit down, we talk, or these days we talk a lot of times on Zoom, but I'm going to be with you from start to finish. So if your case does go to trial, you're going to be sitting next to this guy for 4 or 5 days at trial. So, I don't hand it off to anybody.
So explain that. So if you hired another attorney and they're not board certified, do they not go to trial?
Some do. There's some very good lawyers that are not board certified. I didn't mean to
No,
say
no,
that
I don't know. I'm a lay person.
But there are a lot of lawyers out there that do not go to trial and are good at settling cases. But there's a lot of work with taking a case to trial and taking depositions of treating spinal orthopedic doctors or different accident reconstruction experts.
And that's got to be a lot of work for you to learn something like that. Like if you've gone in for like this newest thing, I've seen so many people, maybe it's because I'm getting older now, but a lot of people are getting reverse.
The reverse shoulder.
Yes, the reverse shoulder. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so I'm now on my third person in like 2 weeks. I'm like, are people just handing out shoulders? Like, but what if that goes wrong? How do you know, right? Now you've got to learn all this, but you got to get experts to start talking. And
Absolutely. You are only as good as your experts.
Right.
And you have to know how to talk to an expert, which is hard because I know from my approach, I try to look at them as please teach the jury because I know they're the smartest person in the room.
So let's take this for a second. Imagine now you hire one of the big law firms, and oh my God, my New Yorker just came out, law firms, where'd that come from? I've been gone for a long time. You actually hire one of these big law firms, and now you get this kid that just came out of college, graduate school, whatever, lawyer school, right? And now they're going, that's scary for the person that's being represented, right?
Well, that's why it's important when you hire a lawyer to ask for the lawyer's credentials to find out about their experience. If people ask me, I can proudly say I've been in personal injury for 23 years. I practiced with my dad.
And I know that. So that helped, right?
It helped.
When you were new,
I
he
grew
was
up
still
in
there.
the business.
Yeah.
So, but
From when you were born.
from when I was born, exactly.
Yeah.
But I had to, go through 23 years of kind of figuring certain things out because there's only so much that my dad or anybody else could tell me. I had to do it. So taking cases to trial, taking expert depositions of neurologists and all these different people, learning medicine so that you can actually ask competent questions that allows the expert to explain the condition of your client. That takes practice. So if somebody has never done that before, you don't want to have 3 hours of testimony of just going through each and every visit. You want to make it interesting for a jury so they don't go to sleep. So, because some of it's very technical.
So that's your Chappelle act.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said you were willing to be David Chappelle earlier, so Dave Chappelle.
How am I doing?
Yeah, well, you said you got to make it interesting, right?
Yes, but you do, because you're really, as a trial lawyer, and I know it's cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway, you have to be a storyteller, because that's how people listen. That's how people absorb information. When you just, and then they went to this doctor, and then they went to this doctor. What would you do if you heard that as opposed to somebody bringing you along on the journey? It's almost like showing them a movie during a trial.
And keep them, I mean, I'm sure, So what would be a case that you wouldn't take?
Well, there's a lot of cases I wouldn't take. And there was a tort reform bill that was passed in 2023, which basically says that if you are more than 50% at fault for an accident, you collect nothing. It used to be that it was the percentage of fault of the other of you deducted from the total award. So if, for example, you were 60% at fault and somebody was 40% at fault and it was a $100,000 verdict, well, your verdict amount is $40,000. Now, that same scenario, zero. So if a defendant can prove that you are just a smidge over 50% at fault, you don't get anything. So we have to be careful with the cases that we take to trial, because when we go to trial, a lot of people we don't get paid unless we collect. So whether it be a settlement or a jury verdict, we need to make sure that we're right about a case. And if we're wrong, I mean, we could be out $30,000 of our money prosecuting the case and don't get paid. Again, we only get paid if we're successful. We're not paid by the hour.
Have you done any kind of, I guess, what do you call those ones where like you get a bunch of people, like class action lawsuits? Have you done any of those?
I don't really do those. I have had cases where I represent multiple people in the same accident, but that's kind of a different sandbox.
Okay.
The people who do class action pretty much just do class action. And it's a very difficult field to do. There's certain firms that specialize in just that. We'd handle the slip and falls and the car accidents and actually, different types of negligence.
So we are running out of time, but there is one more thing I want to ask. When somebody doesn't have children and they're an adult and they have nobody that they take care of, or they have nothing, like they might take care of their parents, right? And they get killed. What happens?
There's nobody, there's no...
Might be their parents.
The parents can make a claim.
Okay.
The parents can make a claim, except if it's a medical malpractice wrongful death case.
Interesting.
There's an exception. People don't know this, and
That's horrible, though.
It is.
You lose your child because somebody does something wrong, and because they didn't have children. Because they didn't have a husband or children.
Yeah, well, there's something and they tried to overturn this recently, and it just didn't happen in the legislature this year. But people don't know that if you're a victim of medical malpractice and you are not married and you do not have any children under age 25, there's nobody that can have standing to bring your cause of action. So basically, the doctor gets away with it. That's unique to Florida. I brought this up when Melissa Rivers, with Joan Rivers, died due to medical malpractice. I said, well, if this happened in Florida, Melissa Rivers would not have had a case because of what we call the free kill law, because it really is. But that's something that's unique to Florida. It's very unfair. Very unfair.
And then tell us about what you're running for.
Well, I mentioned before that I've been a resident of Coral Springs for 40 years, and I'm proud to be running for Coral Springs Commission's seat 4 in the November 2026 election. If you're interested in learning more, go to jeffadelman.com. Again, I believe in having this city continue to be a wonderful place to live. It's been wonderful to my family, to my children, and I just want to give back. It's important, I think, to keep taxes low. We want to make sure that if we can get them a little lower, that would be good, because I know that everybody's kind of in a pinch right now. We have 49 wonderful parks in Coral Springs. That's a big, big draw. We're getting an influx of people. We need to deal with what that's going to cause with our roads. Another thing that's really been top of mind is, a lot of people don't know this, but 25% of the population are over age 55. So senior services need to be improved,
Interesting.
in my opinion. So these are just a small portion of the things that are going to be a part of my campaign. It's been very exciting. My son Benjamin, who is a sophomore at University of Florida, is my treasurer, and my family's very excited. And I'm very honored to be able to do it after going to Hunt Elementary, Forest Glen Middle, and Coral Springs High School to running for a seat on the dais. So
Wow.
hopefully that happens.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home and you don't want to fall into some inspection pitfalls, or you want your home staged, I can definitely do that for you. So give Laura Sanders with RE/MAX Direct a call at 954-650-0827. And if you'd like to talk to Jeff after today, reach out to me and I'll connect you to Jeff. Again, thank you for always listening to Making Money with Laura Sanders. And until next time, make it a great night.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you next week.